My fear is that the thread's possibly gone on the top of the headstock tube because for some reason it's popped up. But we've got to get it down again enough to get this out the way, probably take the bars off, work out what size ball bearings it needs, and then reload it all back up. Now what we need to do probably is take that back off and put the minimal weight that's there back on the front wheel, yeah?
Okay.
So we need to remove that, so we'll take the top off. It's going to be easier, I think. No slot in that, sometimes I have a slot. Right, so that's a bolt. So that we can then, it'll have a clearance hole this side and a threaded hole that side.
Yeah.
And then that, you can tension all your girder forks up to stop all the wobble in them and everything. So we've got to undo that. Because they're cycle thread, which is a very fine form of thread. Should all tighten up in a minute. Yeah, there you go. Alright, so that's released it all, yeah? So all the forks are gone.
Yeah.
That's nice and tight. So let's jack her up again. Can you just put the stands back in, Robin?
So basically, give me a bucket of sand and I'll send you a desert sun. One.
What?
Yep, there you go.
Now we can play around with the forks, do that. Pull our rod out. And that'll all come out the way like that, yeah? So now we should be able to slide that down a bit, yeah? I think that's got itself wedged in there. So let's get a bit of wood and give it a little tappy. There you go. Right, let's get our steering damper out of the way. That's our lock nut, well, adjusting nut I should say. So, right. These are very, very fine threads on these. So you have to be a bit careful with them. But we've also got to try and lift it out, because there's nothing to say that it hasn't bounced up and all the bottom ball bearings are falling out as well. Okay, that's a nice thread on there. So that will live. Right, that bottom race is a little bit worn. Can you see there's slight different shades and lines? That means the headstock, instead of going up and down on the forks, it's been doing that.
Okay.
So it's wearing the ball bearings into it. So what we've got to do now is feel if there's any ball bearings in there. If you haven't got any ball bearings in there, you've had it. Right, okay. Let's get that. And now,
There is ball bearings.
there is ball bearings, yeah. What we want to do is get them all out and make sure there's enough, and that gives us a size reference then as well. So we could have got away with just leaving all them in there, but it's not a chance you want to take. Now they are, that's zeroed out. Right, they're 1/4 inch. They look like prime candidates, don't they? 200, just under 50 thou. So that's 1/4 inch balls. So we've got enough to do that then. So let's put the bottom all back together, get some grease. But while we're in there, we might as well put new ball bearings in the bottom as well. Double check that they are 1/4 inch, so I just pulled another bag out. Yep, they're good. Hopefully they'll stay where they should stay. Right, now, Robin. That's it.
that.
Right, now can you, I'll lift it up, can you move the axle stands out again? And the weight of that should hold all that together. The destruction. Okay, and now, just flip them over the other way. A bit of rag on there. You can get yourself in an awful mess with girder forks. They can be a right pain in the arse.
Where do people normally go wrong then?
Assembling them. There'll be a certain way it all goes together, because some bolts come through that way, some will go through that way, some have a lock on them, some have a left hand thread, some have a clearance hole. They can be a real pain in the arse. Indian forks, 741B forks, horrible things to do.
So there's an order of play then?
Yeah, most definitely. Right, now you can see your lines in there? See, that's where the ball bearings have been loose. More grease came the cry. I mean, these have grease nipples, but basically what you're doing with this is just for assembly purposes, to hold all the ball bearings in place. Dad's XK150 I built. They have a big box channel goes across the front for the heater system, and there was an annoying rattle in it and you couldn't find it, so when we stripped it to rebuild it, it's a 1959 car, and a 1959 Threepenny bit. So they reckon they did them, they call them Friday cars, they reckon they did them on the factory. And now we should be able to lift that over. Right, that's all in at the bottom, that's all in. Right, so that'll stop anything falling out with a bit of luck. And this is the silly bit now, trying to get it all back together. Robin?
Coming there. Leave me on a bungee.
Yeah.
There you go.
Thank you. Okay. Right, let me just get a ratchet. If you look, see you've got a very slight gap there. A lot of these have little shim washers in them and things as well.
Yeah.
So you just want to tighten him up. See the grease squeezing out of it there? So that's tight enough. What you do is when the weight of the engine's in it again, you put them on the ground and you can see what's actually wobbling around and what isn't.
Okay.
So you just nip them through all the way around. Put your lock nut on. That didn't turn before. Give him a little pinch because it needs setting up when you've got the weight of the engine in. And that'll do for that. And then you want to make sure you've got no headstock plate. So you've got loads there, yeah?
Yeah.
So we've got to do that nut up nice and tight now. A little bit more. Touch more.
Is there a danger of over tightening it?
Yeah, you'll feel it. The minute you over tighten it, that'll go notchy when you turn it, yeah? Right, that plate isn't in the headstock. If you look here, that's what I said, they all need setting up.
Yeah.
But if you do that, look, see it all moving there? See it? That's not the headstock moving, that's the forks.
Yeah.
So if you look at that one, see it?
Yeah.
So that's the headstock's nice there. That's okay. So now, because it didn't have that pinch bolt in it, or it's fallen out or something, vibrations, that's unwound, it's all gone bosh. So you couldn't adjust your fork dampener because the grooves in it were down in there. So he goes in that side. He goes in that side. Like I say, this isn't the correct nut and bolt, but it'll do just for the moment to hold it until we get it so it's not going to fall apart on us. what they were originally was one side of that was a machined piece with a bolt head on it.
Yeah.
But it's a lot easier for us to just make one like that, you know. Right, so that just pinches on the two bits of the tube that comes up, and that's it. So we'll put a steering damper back on, whereas you couldn't adjust that before, could you?
No.
So now, there you go. I would imagine that's a bit more rideable now.
Didn't take much, did it, really?
No, it's just everything was falling apart, you know. Nice.